up for love. Baby girl, let's just get out of here. Take a little flight. Let's get lost in love. Let's go. Ma, it's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get their nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking after I ease in. If you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than a cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy will be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets. Lady, I want you. Every time I see you, I just wanna kiss you and hold you. Take you to my place, get a light dinner. Then I start massaging your shoulders. This is love here, baby. Every time I see you, I just wanna kiss you and hold you. You ain't gotta go.
What's good, everybody? It's man Big Dom coming live at you another TruPlayaz Podcast episode. As the Knicks are playing the Washington Wizards right now, the Knicks are down 74-70 at the third quarter, in which we saw Kemba Walker drop 28 first half points, and all of a sudden, when the ball gets into Julius Randle's hands, the offense stops, and Kemba's out of rhythm once again. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to go into length about what's going on with the Knicks. And it's been a long time since I spoke to you guys. So a lot of things has happened over the past month. New York Mets got a new GM, new manager. Like I said, Kemba gets benched. And the Knicks, after the fast, starting off 6-1. They're below 500 and 12th in the East. What can you say? What can you say? Derrick Rose is out for 8 weeks after ankle surgery he did today. So where does that go with the Knicks? You know, the reason we all know why Kemba Walker is back in the lineup is because of the health and safety protocols of many players out due to the situation we're dealing with, right? Due to the situation we've been dealing with for the past 2 years. I mean, past I think year and some months, starting in March of 2020 with the pandemic. However, you know, in my opinion, he should have never been benched in the first place. I think Thibs was looking for a reason to bench him. Did he show some lapse as far as defensively? Yeah, but but the Knicks side up with the understanding that he was going to struggle defensively. So you signed him and Fournier and hoping to be big additions to the Knicks. I still think they could be big additions to the Knicks. Now, it's just going to take them some time to mesh and come together. But, you know, it's only December 23rd, guys. You know, so we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I did not agree with him. I did not agree with Thibs benching Kemba Walker when the Knicks was 11-9. They went 2-9 while he was benched. He comes back and drops some good games. The past 3 games he's been playing. So the record is 1-1, but we'll see what happens tonight because they're down by 7. You see me turning my head. I'm watching the game a little bit. But this is the problem with the Knicks. And I think it has – I'm pointing the finger right at Julius Randle. He got the big contract. He deserved the big contract. But in my opinion, he is not the player. He is not the guy that's going to lead this Knicks deep into the playoffs. He's just not. You could argue with me all you want. If you want to argue with me about that, feel free to hit me up, email me. We can go. I could do this podcast once again, and we could talk about the Knicks all day long and how you feel about that. Julius Randle's not the guy to lead this team to the promised land. He's the guy that he could be a secondary option on the team, but not the primary option. Because he looks for fouls. Once he doesn't get the calls, he loses it emotionally, and we can't have that for a guy who's leading this team. We can't have that. Yes, he had a great season last year. He did. He's still dropping 20 and 10 this year, but the continuity is not there with him and his new teammates, which should have given him the ability to have much more easier shots. And that is the issue. He's not getting easy buckets. He's shooting 3-pointers. He's trying to face up. He just had another 3-pointer and missed. This is what I'm talking about. He wants to bring the ball up court. He thinks he's a big forward and things like that. You're 6'10", 6'9". Get in the post, get fouled, and score the bucket, grab rebounds. We don't need you to bring the ball up court. We got D Rose, and we have Kemba Walker to do that. We don't need you to do that. In the fourth quarter, as I did the last podcast, I spoke about RJ Barrett rising. I seen the last game he played was when he played against the Toronto Raptors, and how he was great in the fourth quarter, getting big open shots for his teammates and force overtime. He needs to have the ball in his hands in crunch time. Outside of that, he has to have the ball in his hands in crunch time. He makes better decisions. He can create his own shot. And as I'm watching Fournier just dribble the ball up, he's not moving the ball. This is the problem with the Knicks team. They don't know how to move the ball. There's too much dribble, too much ISO. When they get down by a lot of points, they fall in love with hero ball. Too much one-on-one basketball and not enough passing the ball around. Kemba Walker scored 28 points in the first half. He hasn't scored. It's been almost 9 minutes into the third quarter. He did not score a point. Only took 2 shots. So what's going on here? You gotta stick with the. You gotta have the ball. The guy with the hot hand needs to have the ball. Boom! And he just hit a 3-pointer, about to get a 4-point play. This is what I'm talking about. You can't doubt the homie from New York. You can't doubt the homie from New York. This is his home. He's from the BX. And truth be told, he's angry about being benched, and now he's showing to everybody why he should not have never been benched. I understand Alec Burks was the guy. He had one good game against he had a few good games. I'm not gonna say one good game, a few good games against the Hawks. He brought him back, and the offense did run better with Alec Burks. Maybe the play should be to bench Fournier. Maybe that should have been the play, not bench Walker. So we'll see what happens. We right now it's a commercial break with the New York Knicks. Like I said, RJ Barrett needs to have the ball in his hands, create plays for his teammates in crunch time, and he's so cool. He doesn't let bad foul calls bother him the way it bothers Randall. When Randall doesn't get his calls, his mind is gone. He loses it. He's not the same focus of the game, and it just hurts the New York Knicks. So, as I'm getting ready to hit off the next segment of this podcast, which we're going to talk about the NFL New York teams. Yeah, I got to talk about them. We are both New York Jets and New York Giants fans are disappointed with the production that's been brought on this field on the field by both of these teams at MetLife Stadium. But before I do that, I'm gonna hit you guys up with a nice little video of my co-host, theme songwriter Prophecy, playing his new track, Once Upon a Time. Enjoy it.
Once upon a time, yeah. Once upon a time, Once upon a time, yeah, you already. Once upon a time, matter of fact, once upon this time, no cap, but I gotta drop a couple lines. I even had to read between a couple lines. Couple times I interrupted niggas shine. I took losses worse than Diddy did shine. If I slipped, I mean hell's frozen and pigs fly. I'm the ish when they say that shit's fly. Niggas biting my style, worse than shit flies. P get live, liver than trip wide. Trip clip, boom, enemies die. That's what you get when you cross enemy lines. Too many times, fools ain't pay me any minds. Stevie seen rhythms, Ray Cook, y'all the ones really blind. Ray bands on my eyes, thankful I'm alive. Breaking bands with my guys, spending family time. Dedicated like Nipsey, I'ma hustle till I die. Marathon still running, success comes from the grind. And then I say, once upon a time. Once upon a time. Gridlock. Once upon a time. Once upon a time. Yeah. Twas the night before that night. I was born on that day, but not last night. Once upon a time, I had my cash right. Plug called, he ain't act right. I'm far from a slow nigga in this fast life. He pulled up, I got low, hit the black light. Once upon a time, slimy niggas catch a bad night. When bad police die, they don't deserve bagpipes. Once upon a time, they need to feel what God raps like. Old soul, so folks feel me like a past life. Head buster, I'm shining bright as a mag light. Once upon a time, when will the government act right? Opinionated imbeciles just need to get their facts right. Skull and bones, poison spine for the backbites. You'll find out that going behind my back bites. Once upon a time, got you dying now. When I'm around, these loud mouths be dying down. Once upon a time. Yeah. Once upon a time. I was just dreaming. Once upon a time. I woke up. Once upon a time. Oh yeah. I'm up now. Yeah. I'm up now.
Once upon a time, the New York Giants was the team that we always could rely on to be the playoffs on a consistent basis, to be the flagship franchise of New York football. What we have seen over the past 6 or 7 years, that no longer is the case with the New York Giants. And the reason being is twofold. And I was listening to on ESPN, I believe Brandon Marshall was saying something about that the owners, as they're great owners, the Tish and Mara, great owners, but I think they're stuck in their old ways of being Giants. And I think it's time for them to elevate and change their ways to improve this team. There's too much of let's go do it the old Giant way, but now the Giant way is no longer working. You brought back Gettleman. You know, Gettleman has been a disaster since he came in here. Ever since that draft he did when he drafted Daniel Jones with the 6th pick. And I spoke about this on many podcasts. I should have went with the linebacker Josh Allen and then drafted Daniel Jones with the 19th pick. I've said that many times on many episodes when I speak about the Giants. That was his downfall. His also downfall is not building that offensive line. That has been a problem for whether it's Daniel Jones, whether it's been Eli Manning, whether it's been Mike Glennon, who's horrible, whether it's I don't know. I really can't put my finger on any other. Geno Smith. There you go. Was it Geno Smith with Gettleman or was it Jerry Reese? But nevertheless, I digress. The New York Giants have been a bad organization on New York Jets type level. Dysfunction and all that fun stuff. And I'm not basking in the wind in regards to that because I respect the Giants organization. For me, the Giants are not like the Yankees for me. I'm a Met fan. I hate the Yankees. But I'm a Jet fan, but I don't hate the Giants. I root for them when they're playing. Not against my team, but I do root for them. But there's few questions that needs to be asked. We all know Dave Gettleman is going to be fired at the end of the season. Whether fired or he's going to be fired. They may spin it that he was retiring and things like that. No, this guy's getting fired. Period. They'll do something under the covers. Yeah, we're going fire him. Would have thought when Tom Coughlin left that building, the New York Giants organization will drop to these depths of New York Jet level, as far as organizations, product on the field. Who would have thought that? Another question I want to ask to my fellow Giant fans is, my fellow peoples who root for the Giants, is Daniel Jones the answer at quarterback for this team? He came in with Pat Shurmur. I forgot. Is this Pat Shurmur as the head coach? He did play well. He did play better than what he's playing with now, with whoever the offense coordinator is now. Since they fired Jason Garrett, the offense has not gotten better with when they fired Jason Garrett. So it wasn't Jason Garrett's issue. It's probably it's most likely that offensive line that they put together. Maybe not utilizing Saquon Barkley. You playing too much Booker. I understand Saquon Barkley's come back from an ACL, but I believe you picked up his option. Did you not? You need to find out if this guy is worth that money that you picked him up for. You need to find that out. So he has to be on the field. I've seen some glimpses of him coming back, but he hasn't had a 100-yard as Alec Burks missed a shot at the end of the third quarter. Saquon Barkley has had a 100-yard rushing game this season. Don't anybody find that a little bit of an issue? Granted, my Jets are no better. I don't think they even had a 100-yard rushing period this whole season under Robert Saleh and Lafleur. But I'm not gonna digress off the Jets yet because I got a lot to say about them motherfuckers. Real talk. And they need to hire me as GM because I wouldn't have chosen this coach. Too much. Let me stick with the Giants for now, guys. Let me stick with the Giants. So, yeah. You guys, question you got to need to ask yourself: is Daniel Jones is your quarterback? What's going to happen with the receiving core? Is Shepard staying with the team? Evan Ingram, what's going to happen with him? He's a free agent. What's going to happen? That's a question that needs to be answered by the new GM. Does the new GM even keep Joe Judge as his coach? That is the major question that needs to be asked. And whether or not we're going to have that answer is another story. It's definitely another story to be spoke about. And we'll, like I said, we'll see what happens with the Giants, what they do. My opinion, if you're going to fire the GM, fire the coach too. Let the new GM pick his coach. Let's not waste 1 year of let me see how this coach I inherited does with the draft picks that I choose. Okay? So I'm done with the Giants on that end. Okay, now we're going to talk about the New York Jets. New York Jets. Over the past 2 years, I've never seen a team. I can't say this coach is badly coaching the team. I don't think he's coaching to the talent that he has available to him. That's the reason why they're 3-11. Reason being, Bart Scott spoke about this 2 weeks ago. The defense, when it first played the first few games, had a pass rush that was really good, but it didn't. When people stopped, throwing too many passes against his defense, they started running the ball, and you started seeing holes in the defense because they couldn't stop the run. This has been the problem. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the screen pass. They couldn't stop. They couldn't stop. What else they couldn't stop? They couldn't stop anything. To be honest with you, screen pass, tight end screens, halfback screens, wide receiver screens. They couldn't stop anything. And I felt during the trading deadline, I felt they did CJ Mosley a disservice by not trading him to a contender. This guy at the Jets playing at 3 and 11, still playing his ass off from sideline to sideline. You know, the defense. Buck Showalter mentioned something a few weeks ago that the defense that Robert Saleh inherited was a 3-4 defense. You got 3-4 players, and you played a 4-3 defense. And I remember Bart Scott mentioning that. That's probably why they couldn't stop the run. The problem I have with a lot of these new coaches, in which I give the utmost respect to Mike Tomlin. The reason I give Mike the utmost respect to Mike Tomlin is because he came from a Tampa 2 defense, inherited a team who was a 3-4 zone blitz defense, and he did not change it. He didn't change it, and he went on to win a Super Bowl with that 3-4 defense, zone blitz defense. That he's grown to be an expert of it because he's been around it. But this Mike Tomlin came from a Tampa 2 4-3 defense, cover 2 defense. But this is the genius of Mike Tomlin is he coached the defense according to the time that was available to him. Whereas Robert Saleh, you can still run a cover 3 with a 3-4 defense. Carl Lawson could be a stand-up rusher in a 3-4 defense. Quinnen Williams could still, get to the quarterback. Fudukoski could still get to the quarterback. Maybe Shaq Lawson, who they benched last game, could have flourished much better in a 3-4 alignment and get to the quarterback. And CJ Mosley could be CJ Mosley. And I feel that's been a problem. You don't have the cornerbacks to play that defense. I mean, the cornerback had a good game the other last week. I forgot his name. See, I don't even know these cornerbacks. I think that that's something they need to work on in the offseason, getting corners and getting some linebackers, and another rusher. But fix that cornerback position, and please re-sign Marcus May. Resign Marcus May to solidify that safety. We lost Joyner for the year. Joyner and May, we deserve as Jets fans to see them in the safety backfield to see what's going on. Zach Wilson, I don't know, guys. I know a lot of people are seeing posts on Facebook and things like that. Oh, he's a first-year quarterback. What do you expect from a first-year quarterback? What do you think about a first-year quarterback? Okay, we have Lamar Jackson, first-year quarterback, playoffs. Justin Herbert looks like he's going to be a good quarterback for San Diego. Burrows looks like he's doing very well in Cincinnati, despite a bad offensive line. Doing pretty well. Got off to a fast start this year. You know what the difference is between those quarterbacks and Zach Wilson and before Sam Darnold? They don't play in New York. I explain this to many people, to friends of mine who are Jet fans. I explain to people in these New York Jet groups that we have on Facebook that New York, being a quarterback in New York is a different beast. I don't care. The higher the draft pick is for that quarterback, the more the spotlight's going to be on him. It's going to be shining on him. It's best to let him sit out the first few games and then come in mid-season or late season to play. Once he gets sees what's going on from the sideline. They didn't do that with this guy. And plus, I'm not a fan of short quarterbacks. I like my quarterback 6'3" and above. I can see the field. Excuse me. Who can see the field. That's who I want. I'm not gonna lie, the offense has looked better in the first half than it does the past few weeks. However, they seem to fizzle after halftime now. Before is to get off to a slow start and then start playing well in halftime. So LaFleur needs to figure out how to get this offensive play, 60 minutes of offensive football if possible. I understand, other teams got the ball too, but the majority of the time that team has the football, they need to be producing points. I'm glad they got the field goal kicker situation solved with Pinheiro. I'm glad they did that. So the problem is too, this coaching staff seems to be in love with Elijah Moore. He's a good little player. He does a little good things, but he's a slot receiver, and it seems like they want to feature him in the offense. I'm not a proponent of featuring. Hold on, as I'm seeing Alec Berg driving. All right, he scored. All right, 97-93, guys. Washington's leading the Knicks. As I'm getting distracted here. But however, I'm not a fan of a 5 foot. He's not OJ. He's not OBJ. He's not OJ Beckham. Sorry, he's not him. You need a 6'2" receiver, big receiver, who could be the top guy. And Corey Davis was not the answer. He needs to be cut at the end of the season. He's out for the season. He needs to be cut. Needs to be. I mean, he wasn't a good player, and I believe that they purposely did not want Denzel Mims to succeed. Denzel Mims did have a bad game last game with bad penalties. He had 2 very bad penalties in the last game, and I felt bad for him because I felt this guy worked hard to be back on the field to be the receiver that Joe Douglas drafted him for. And this coach staff is not using him properly. They're not using him properly. I don't think they even want him on the team. If you didn't want him on the team, you should trade him at the deadline. Stop this bullshit. He needs a new scenery. And whatever happened to Mekhi Becton? It seems like he's going to be out for the whole season. I guess him rooting for Denzel Mills to get playing time it doesn't make the coaches happy with him either. So we'll see what happens with Mekhi Becton. Defense can't stop the run. You even hear Eagles players when they played against the Eagles disrespecting Robert Salah. That's bad business, and that's on the players. They need to do better. They need to play better. Don't let no one come and disrespect your coach. Don't do that. So I spent nearly almost a half hour talking about the Jets, the Giants, and the Knicks, and I'm being distracted by the New York Knicks playing the Wizards right now. But let me get to the nitty-gritty of why this podcast is happening. It's because after 4 times, Buck Showalter has been mentioned as a New York Mets manager, he is finally going to wear the New York Mets uniform and be the skipper of the New York Mets. And what I say to that, no more new managers. We got an experienced manager, a little bit old, but an experienced manager who has built programs. One thing about Buck Showalter that you could never take away from him, even though he didn't get a chance to see the fruits of his labor with winning a World Series, he built programs. He built the Yankee program in the 90s. He built the Arizona Diamondbacks program. And they won a world championship the year after they let go of him. So this manager and the Orioles was bad for a long time. When he was managing the Orioles, he got to the playoffs twice. And plus, he was highly recommended by Max Scherzer, who they signed 3 years, $130 million. It's about $43 million a pop, just about. Now, when I heard about this signing, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, fellow Mets fans, is that I was like, for a guy who's 37 years old, Cy Young Award winner, The Dodgers used him a lot last year. They used him as the bullpen. They used him as a starter. And how much does this man have left? And I thought about it long and hard about this situation, guys. And I'm convinced that this guy, I'm praying this guy has a lot more left to honor that 3-year contract. I understood why Epler, I think the new GM's name is Epler. I understand why he signed him, because they lost Syndergaard. They missed out on Steven Matz coming back. They were more concerned about Jacob deGrom's injury with his elbow, which I hope he's recovered and he's ready to rock and roll. Because if these two guys are healthy next season, there should be no excuse why the Mets are not back in the playoffs. No excuse. You got the manager who has the pedigree to get the team to the playoffs. The pedigree. You signed Starling Marte to play center field. You know what I'm saying? Play center. We finally got a center fielder. We can put Nimmo in left field and stop playing with Dom in left field and things like that. You signed Mark Canha. He plays right field. He can play left field. I was leaning towards keeping. I'm still hoping they can re-sign Conforto, but that ship, I think the Conforto ship has sailed out of the New York Mets dock. Sorry to say it, guys. Sorry to say it. I'm gonna miss Michael Conforto. It's he's gonna play wherever he's going. He's gonna play well and find his mojo. So we'll see what happens. I'm still hoping they sign him, because I think the signings have stopped because of the Major League Baseball lockout, so they can't sign any more players. But they also signed an infielder, Escobar, and but this is we lost. Stroman ends up in the Cubs. If you listen to me on many podcasts, guys, I was not a fan of Marcus Stroman. He just talked too much. He talked too much and didn't produce enough for the type of talk that he was speaking. So I'm glad he's gone. He's not going to be missed. But would I have signed him also when they signed Scherzer? Yes, I would have. Because now what you got now is you got Scherzer, you got DeGrom, you got Cookie Carrasco. And who do you have the last two behind you? Peterson and who else? The Mets need another pitcher. And it's no excuse for them to lose Noah Syndergaard. No excuse to lose Noah Syndergaard the way they lost him. No excuse. Granted, Noah Syndergaard did sign a 1-year deal with the Angels. He could still come back to the Mets in 2023. He still could come back. But we'll see what happens. He said the reason why he left was because of the uncertainty of the GM position, which they filled after he signed with the Angels. And that's an indictment on Sandy Alderson's part. That's an indictment on Steve Cohen's part. Uncle Steve, that's your fault. Stop crying about how the agent for Steven Matz shook your hand and said, yeah, he'll come back, and ends up signing with the Cubs. Don't be mad about that. Part of the dysfunction in the front office is because of the owner. And you got it, and you got to take responsibility for that, Uncle Steve. You got to take responsibility for that. I'm sorry. You can't run away from that. Things that's happened with the New York Mets is Robinson Cano is returning from the year-long suspension for PEDs. What can he give the New York Mets? Now that the National League is officially a DH league as well, we'll see what's going to happen. Who's going to play DH? Who's going to be that bat in DH? Me personally, I've said it many times. You should have gave Pete Alonso a glove and have him take some ground balls at third base, and you move down to first base. What's going to happen is now you got 2 second basemen who need to play. Jeff McNeil, I think he's going to rebound next season. He's going to rebound. Whether if he's going to rebound with the Mets as a Mets player or not, it's another story. It's a different story. He could be on the way out as well. Cano is for the all time. If they don't buy him out, he's going to be the primary DH for this team. Kemba Walker just to the 3, brought the Knicks back into 4 with 4 points. What can Cano give you at the age of 38 years old as a DH? We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Alec Burks can't play no defense, man, but that's another story for another half. Anyway, what can you do with Robinson Cano? What is if you keep Jeff McNeil? Is he the second baseman, or Escobar's going to play some second base? Who's going to play third base? The Mets are still flirting with Chris Bryant when the lockout is over. They still flirt with that possibility. Yes, we lost Javi Baez, but I just think it was good for the Mets that he went to another team. Me personally, I thoroughly believe that. I think him and the dynamic with him and Lindor, you gotta siphon Lindor's power play on that team. And I think that's part of the reason why. Is that Dotson playing? The Knicks signed Dotson? Oh, that's my man right there. Damian Dotson is back with the Knicks. Oh shoot. Sorry guys, I'm digressing. If just Jeff McNeil play second base, just Jeff McNeil play third base, or Jeff McNeil goes out of town. That's the thing that that Buck Showalter needs to figure out. The organization on the whole needs to figure out what is Jeff McNeil's role on this team. It could be real easy for the Mets. They could save them some money. Like I said, I mentioned on many podcasts. I'm keep saying I mentioned things on my previous podcast about equitable spending. You guys, I've explained to you. If you don't know what that means, when you get more bang when you get the bang you need from that buck you spent, and you have an opportunity in spring training is to have Pete Alonso take some ground balls at third base. You put Dom, who's a better first baseman, at first base. You keep your two stalwart young kids at the corners. Then you put McNeil at second base. You could put Cano as a DH. There's another scenario I'm gonna tell you guys that Buck Showalter needs to consider. It's considering putting Robinson Cano at third base. Put Robinson Cano at third base. Put Jeff McNeil at second base. And then have Pete Alonso. I'm gonna hold up, guys. Let me watch this game a little bit. Come on, Kemba. Oh, Kemba missed a 3-pointer. He's gassed. But you could have a situation with the DH positioning where you could have Dom Smith and Pete Alonso alternate swinging their bats at the DH. If Cano needs a break, needs a rest on the field, then he could also jump in and play some get some at bats at DH as well. That's something that Buck Showalter would need to consider and have to flirt with. And that's the way I would do it. That's the way I would do it. To be honest with you, that's the way I would do it. Make sure the DH position is available for Dom Smith, Pete Alonso, and Cano. Now, if Conforto comes back miraculously, then you have a little conundrum there, but it would be a happy conundrum for me as a Met fan who's a fan of Michael Conforto. It would be a happy medium for me to have on the team. Have him, play left field. Go back to left field, have Canna at right field, and Starlin Marte at center field. And now what do you do with Nemo? Nemo becomes your super fourth outfielder? How could you not start Nemo 80 or 90% of the games? How could you not do that? He gets on base. He makes contact. That's something for me. If I was a GM, that's something I have to consider. I have to think about that deeper because I want Conforto back on his team. Make it happen, Scott Boras. Stop being a fucking greedy bastard. We gave Scherzer that money. Now do us a favor and have Conforto come back to the team that he was drafted by and groomed to be a good player with. I'm tired of seeing Mets homegrown talent go to other teams and become all-stars. Come on, Walker. Push. Oh, boy. Randall, no. This is what the problem is. Kemba Walker's gas. He needs help. Yes. Fournier hits a big three-point at the corner. Knicks are down by 2. Sorry about that, guys. I'm distracted during the podcast. But it's all good, though. But, yeah, the happy medium is, for me, is you sign Conforto. And where do you go from here with Conforto? Oh, my goodness. But now, what's left now with the Mets is now you got the starting pitching. You need one more starter, and you need a bullpen help. Do you flirt? Now, do you flirt with bringing back Familia? Do you flirt with bringing back Betances? Now that you have a real manager that you have in Buck Showalter. I hope he has the opportunity to choose his staff. And I'm not a fan of Jeremy Hefner as pitching coach. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of that. So you can save me with that bullshit with him being pitching coach. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think he's good. Where do you go as far as bullpen help is? Do you bring back, like I said, do you bring back Familia? Do you bring back Betances? I know the fans could be like, hell no. These guys was bad on the team, and we don't want them and things like that. Something to consider. Kimbrel, is he still available? I think he is. Well, I think he resigned, but I have to double check that with you guys. But you need bullpen help. You need a left hand specialist come out the bullpen. Andrew Miller is still available. He's a little bit older and at the end of his career. But there's someone you need to consider, someone you need to look at to fill a hole in that bullpen. And plus, he has experience with Buck Showalter as manager. Let's see how much Buck Showalter has with the front office to bring in certain players that he wants. That's what I'm waiting for. He's a program builder. Brooks misses a three-pointer. Sorry about that, guys. I'm getting ready to wrap up this podcast anyway because I need to focus on the game. Yeah. So, how much leverage will Buck Showalter have to bring the players that he would like to have on his team? And yes, so to get one more starting pitcher, and probably need like one right-handed arm in the bullpen and one left-handed arm in the bullpen. Let's get cooking. Let's get cooking with this team. It's time to win a championship. It's been almost over 36 years since this team has won a World Series championship. 1986. We need to get back. Not just get back to the World Series, but this time we got to win it. And maybe, oh my God, just hit another three-pointer. Kuzma. But anyway, it's funny how he leaves LeBron. He starts playing like some sort of a decent player, a good player all of a sudden. But anyway, like I said, we'll see what happens with the New York Mets. I'm kind of excited about the season. Once they work through the CBA and get these guys back on the field, then we'll figure out where Conforto's going and things like that. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's blessed to be back doing a podcast with you guys. We're going to have JoeyG LT. Hopefully, my brother Ricky Brown returns to the podcast to be the guest host that we're going to do, because we have two decent episodes that I want to throw out there. As far as Power Book 2 Season 2, the mid-season review of the Power series, which I'm excited to. I'm happy to have it back. And also, due to a post that I placed on Instagram about I posted a video made by Ricky Brown with the Weeknd's Blinding Lights and Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards scene, and Ricky Brown did such a great job putting it together. A fan-made situation, fan-made video on Game of Thrones, and we have gotten a lot of requests to do an episode on how we would rewrite season 8 of the Game of Thrones. So I will let you guys know when those. Next week we're gonna do the mid-season of Power Book 2 with JoeyG and LT. And also, don't forget the Women's Entrepreneur Series. I know I've been pushing it back. I keep pushing the series back. But that's going to be something for the new year, guys. Something for the new year. So, on that note, I'm going to be signing off on the podcast. It's your man, Big Dom, signing off on the TruPlayaz Podcast. It's good to be back on the podcast trail. And I want to wish you guys happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy holidays all in all. And hopefully we will do a podcast before the new year. And we're going to probably listen, I'm not going to make no promises. You know, I haven't been keeping my promises lately. So so we're going to keep it like that. On that note, it's your man Big Don. Sign off on this podcast. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.